And thank you all for your patience, and especially your grace and kindness early on during the seating mess. But our last inductee to the night to the Illinois Boxing Hall of Fame, but far from least, is Marty Jakubowski. Marty had a remarkable boxing career for somebody that was just trying to avoid getting a real job, so he says. He was born in 1969 in Whiting, Indiana, where he still lives. He started boxing at age 9, and when the Whiting Boxing Club opened in his neighborhood. He said, I just followed around with my friends and started. He had his first fight the same year, and his first real fight a year later. He had an amateur record of 125 and 35 that included 2 Chicago Golden Glove runner-up, a win at the Chicago Bar District Tournament, and multiple state titles. He boxed every day in Chicago with gyms all over the city and boxed with everyone in Chicago. He said, the Chicago guys inspired me, and there were many of them, most of them Hall of Famers, but especially including Orlando Johnson and Leroy Murphy. His agents were Sean Gibbons and Pete Sussens, who taught him everything about the boxing business. He said, Gibbons now works for Manny Pacquiao and is typically and hilariously self-spacing manner. Marty says, I tell everybody he went from Marty to Manny. He turned pro at age 17, and his professional career was as old school as it gets. He has been called, quite accurately, the last of the 100 win fighters. He had 137 professional fights with an overall record of 118, 34, and 7 with 12 no contest. He fought anyone, anywhere, anytime, and he has a great story about driving to Montana for a $1,000 fight. So he brought that blue-collar mentality and a love for the fight. He said, I like to fight more than I like to train, and his managers inspired him to say, why not learn to fight in the ring, in front of a crowd, and get paid for it? And that he did. He fought the best of the best, and including, but not limited to, Arthur Gregorian, Khalid Radulov, and especially Julio Cesar Chavez twice. And they developed a mutual respect, and he said after he fought Chavez the first time, every promoter wanted him on their card. So he fought often. He fought multiple times per month for years and did incredibly well. Although he did win a world title, he fought the world titles 3 times. He was ranked in the top 10 in the world by all the major sanctions bodies. He was smart, technically sound, fast, and as tough as they came. Was just trying to avoid getting a real job, he says. He did work for the Whiting Park District for a while. Today, he runs Knuckleheads Boxing Gym in Chicago, South Loop. He still lives in Whiting with his wife, Teresa, and their children, Alexis, Olivia, and Jake. And he especially thanks his wife, Teresa, because he says, I couldn't have done it without her, which is quite a legacy for a guy who just tried to avoid getting a real job. Ladies and gentlemen, Marty Jakubowski.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I'm sorry it's so late, but they gave me a 20-minute limit, so they can so comfortable. Pete did everything really quick. It is really true. I was really trying to just get a real job and end up in the Hall of Fame. It's a strange thing. Real quick, I just wanted to thank my wife and my family for being here. I want to thank my friend, my preacher, Wayne, who keeps me grounded in my walk with Jesus. I'm trying to be better every day. I tell everybody that I'll probably be the last person to be a 100-fight winner, and it's just because people don't box like we did anymore. And all these people that I met in boxing, throughout these years, the Orlando Johnsons that inspired me at the beginning of my career, Leroy Murphy and Wayne Lionel, and guys like that. I've been around so long, where I'm at. And I know I'm just an Indiana guy and I'm the odd man out. But my trainer, Dennis Hartsey, introduced me to the Chicago guys. Like I mentioned, Orlando Johnson, Leroy Murphy, Johnny Hurd, Jason Kamel, Wayne Lionel, Pete Jakubowski, you know, the guys in the generation before me. And then there were guys in my era like Jeff Mason, Rodney Wilson, Anthony Ivory, Pat Coleman, David Diaz, Vinny Leticia, Ziggy, Mike Fly Garcia, Donnell Nicholson, so many more. Being around all these guys, you know, it just taught me how to fight. And I was in the gym with them or I was around them. And they mentioned Pete and Sean. But the thing with a lot of these fighters was, and trainers, they welcomed me in every neighborhood. And I'm in every neighborhood. I was in every neighborhood. And everyone always treated me with respect and kindness. And I want to thank all the fighters and trainers for letting me learn from and with you guys. I borrowed a little rhythm and a little soul from each one of you. And that's how a white kid from Indiana ends up with more than 200 fights and can still talk.